and do them all well.
Right, and man, is he one of the teammates that our guys respect the most. He not only he can play two positions, he plays in base and nickel. It's just one of those guys that you can completely count on. You feel, from a coach's standpoint, you feel his length in terms of the way he can cover and play man-to-man on tight ends. We certainly like when we get to match him up against those guys. So one of the most versatile players we have, just because of his size and length, and one of the great teammates on our group of guys.
You guys have talked about his length and size quite a bit. I guess, can you kind of explain a little bit how that shows up and what the biggest benefit of that is?
Yeah, I guess in the man-to-mans, and even in the zones too, just for the guys who have a big catching radius, he can go match those guys. So his arm length, where he can go and track the ball when a guy's going up to compete for it, along the lines of the big tight end. So you know, he's kind of built like a tight end in that way, where he's got long arms and he can really run. So I think it's those matchups that we covet the most for him, where he can find himself on a tight end playing man-to-man.
How important, I mean, this organization has really kept a lot of the core guys on the defense in particular together. How important is that continuity?
Yeah, I think it's huge, and here's another one that's going to be part of this group moving forward. And so now when you talk about some of the guys who were new getting into it last year, and now KJ back into the mix, from the continuity standpoint and how much these guys are willing to work for each other, I can't tell you how thrilled we are to have KJ here and be a big part of that. I think it shows a lot of respect for him and regard for him in terms of what the organization is trying to do, to say, okay, hey, let's make sure this guy is part of this group too.
Of the 4 defensive players you guys have signed to these extensions, you've got a 4th rounder and 2 5th rounders. What does that say about the team's ability to both kind of find guys and then develop them?
Sure, I think it doesn't go, we talk about it a lot, in terms, especially with Chris and Ken, who had some of these guys from the very beginning in their development. And I think KJ's another one of those guys. In fact, I talked to Ken about that last night, and just had that nice contract also a sign for him, how hard he's worked. And KJ put the work in, but just the development of the mindset that he's had to go after it. And if, just you guys have been around Ken for 1 minute, you can feel his competitive fire. So he really brings it out of guys, and as Chris does as well. So I think those two guys in particular, not only the connection that they make with the players on the field, it's off the field, all the things necessary to become good players, and they've captured that with those guys.
With KJ, Bobby, and Bruce.